Hey guys, I think this video I wanted to take a moment to hopefully not too much of a moment, but briefly talk about what my running sort of testimony is, why it is that I would try to evangelize running as some sort of tool that all people should have. So I guess I can go into some of my background. Um, I am 36 years old now, and when I first started running, I was around 23 years old when I found out essentially that I was going to be a father. My wife and I were a young married couple, and at the time, I was severely overweight. Um, I am only about 5'8" in height, and yet I was about 211 pounds. And for a guy my size, in terms of stature, that kind of weight is really unhealthy, being that it was just all fat. There was no muscle on my body. And so, I think that what kind of got me to that place is living a very sort of sedentary lifestyle, of course, but I was also pretty content in my relationship with my wife. Um, we are certainly still kind of battling that whole weight aspect of life. I think everybody has to deal with that throughout their life, but at the time, I was clearly an overeater, and I know that I overindulged in food to excess, and so without any sort of exercise outlet, I just kind of ballooned up. I'd started a job at a call center when I was about 22, and that job was just super demanding in terms of the amount of time I would spend at a desk taking phone calls from the minute that I got into the office there. In fact, you were expected to be at your desk, signed into the telephone system within the first minute of your shift start time. So you could have breaks throughout the day, but for the most part, you'd be sitting in that desk for 8 hours at a time, taking phone calls. It was a tech support job, so I would be, fixing computer issues through the phone, and it was something that I was good at, but I clearly gained weight within the first year at that job. I went from probably being around 170 pounds up to 211 pounds. So that when I found out that I was going to be a father, I was nervous because I didn't make very much money, so I didn't feel as if I could support a child. I only made about $16.82 at the time. But secondly, B, I was also incredibly weak willed. I lacked willpower. I was content in my relationship with my wife, and so I didn't really feel as if I needed to maintain a level of fitness that kept me from just gaining all this weight. And because I was juggling this soul sucking job, I didn't really spend any of my free time doing anything other than the things that I enjoyed. Video games, TV shows, and the normal stuff that I think most young men, young adult men enjoy with their time. That is exactly what I spent my time doing. However, when I found out that I was going to be a father, I started wanting to get fit so that I could have enough energy to keep up with my son. And I also didn't like what I looked like in the mirror. I didn't like what I saw. And so I started running outside around my apartment complex, just kind of running the block and taking what time I could to just sort of do jogs and then brisk walks in sort of a burst and then rest mode. And that did help me. And initially, I then started feeling as if, well, what about when the winter comes and I can't run outside? I didn't have running outerwear attire. I didn't have the money for any of that stuff. So, what I did have a little bit of money for was a gym membership. So I got a membership at a gym that was just across the street from my apartment, and that allowed me to kind of go inside during the cold months and practice running on a treadmill. And what I found is that the more that I would sort of run in these brief stints, setting the treadmill up to a 6 and then just trying to go as long as I could before a rest period, I started to get the endorphin feeling that you get from the runner's high. I started to reach a 5 minute sort of heavy pace for myself, and then after 5 minutes, have to rest for maybe 2 minutes. But as I kept doing that every week, at least 3 times a week, I started to increase the amount of time that I could run. I went from 5 minutes to 10 minutes, and then from 10 minutes to 15, and so on until the entire workout was me running at a 6, which is about a 10-minute pace. It's nothing special, but it is life changing. It is something that when you go from a sort of sedentary lifestyle where you can't really run a mile to now being able to run multiple miles, whether it's on a treadmill or outside, that is life changing. And so I lost the weight. Of course, my diet had to change, but the weight came down. And one of the things that I discovered from running is that the dissatisfaction I had about my job, it became more manageable through running. I'm not going to say that I became some sort of superhero and overcame everything within the first year that I was dissatisfied about within my job, but I know that during that time, as I started to get better at this, the people at my work noticed, the people that I was working with and the people that were sort of my bosses and leadership, they noticed that I was losing that weight. And B, I started to feel more confident. And through running, I also became a little bit more humble. A sense of humility is something that I did lack at that time. And so when I would say lose an argument to a boss, or have a boss unfairly chastise me or disrespect me, or a coworker do something similar, I stopped wanting to just immediately burn bridges with people. I learned how to accept the situation as it was, go for a run, and eventually what I found is that through doing that, I gained an insight into myself and what I was capable of, and I stopped caring so much about what others did with their lives. And really, my reaction to the world that was around me is what had to change. And so I didn't shoot up the corporate ladder at that job. Eventually, I found a different job, one that paid me a little bit more. And through continuing to run, and I had ups and downs within my career, but through continual running, I found that life became easier to manage, and there was a certain level of joy that I got from running that spurred on my weight loss. I'm about 168 pounds today, and I've kept that weight off since I was 23. I've never gone back up to that weight ever again. I've never even breached 200 pounds again. I've stayed under that weight, not just because I had motivation to do it because of my son being born. He's now 11, and I've started sharing the gift of running with him. And that, it came about because of joy for the hobby, not because of just motivation to be something that I thought in my head I needed to be as a father. What I found is that running gave me way more than I ever gave it. The effort, the motivation, the things that I put into it, I received and reaped so much more out of it than I ever had to put in. And so the effort wasn't too much to handle. And everything else in life, the volume got turned down on it. The things that were negative, I stopped worrying so much about. And the things that were good, I started to focus on. And so this is what I sort of prescribe to everyone, especially young men. Running is something that will take your time and your energy and amplify it. You will find that by running, you get more thinking done, more prayer done, more time alone with your thoughts, which for most guys who have anxiety disorders or sedentary in their lifestyle, that's the worst thing for them, is to be alone in a room with their thoughts. And I found that by running, I was able to maybe not be alone in a room, but capable of focusing on something other than the TV show in front of me, or the video game, or the fact that I'm hungry and would like a snack. I started to figure out that through running, I could focus on my breathing, the steps that I was making, maybe the music in my ear, and I started to feel as if something inside of me was talking to me. And I'll just share with you guys, look, I'm a Christian. I know in my heart that the thing that was talking to me was God. And still to this day, I have moments when I'm running. It's not every run, but in many runs, I feel His presence. Now, I might not feel His presence each time I'm out there, but He's there in every run, watching, cheering me on. I know it. And so I push forward through pain, not because I'm tough or resilient in my own strength, but because of the Creator who was gently wooing me toward my destiny, bringing me and beckoning me forth to something better than I had at the time, which was, look, I had a great marriage. I still have a great marriage with my wife. We have our ups and downs like anybody else. But I love her, and I love the fact that God gave me a life that is worth living for. And running amplified all the good parts of my life that I didn't have enough gratefulness for. And that is where God blessed me. And the more that I was a better steward of the things that He gave me, the more that I felt as if my life was worth fighting for. And so running gave me everything. I don't work a dead-end job now. I have many opportunities that come my way that frankly don't feel deserving of, but I am blessed to have, because God is giving me more to be a steward over. If you can be trusted with a little bit in life, life will reward you with a lot to be trusted with. And running gave me those things. And me personally, I would say with all confidence that God gave me running. And so because He gave that to me, He gave me everything. But I use the running as a tool to show that there is a path forward for those that are downtrodden in life, feeling as if you don't have what it takes to do the things that you want in life, feeling as if you lack the energy, the resources, the capability, or the talent. Running will make you see what you do have, and you have more than you think. That is what running gave me, and I know that it has so much more to give me. There's a well that is unending that I am pulling life-giving water from through running. And there are other hobbies out there that will do similar things for you, but I am saying that from my experience, my testimony, running is the thing that brought me everything. And I would say that there is purpose in every run that I go on, every time that I set myself on the pavement, put shoes on my feet and get sunlight on my face, I know that there's a purpose in that. Whether or not I have it in me to go 3 miles or 10 miles, whatever it is, it's purposeful. So I would encourage every person who thinks that running is something meant to maybe condition you for a temporary period of time, to look at it differently, to look at it as something that you can have forever. It's a gift that you get to keep forever. It never leaves you. The longer that you stay with it and you continue to do it, you're not going to break down from it. People think that their knees will buckle, that they will have ankles that can't carry the weight after a certain period of time. What I say to that is that you can keep running into your 50s, 60s, and 70s. I've met people out on the trails at 5Ks that are in their late 60s running faster than me, harder than me, and they are sweating less than me. So I know from personal experience that this is a gift that keeps on giving. So I encourage everyone to keep running because of everything that it's done for my life and everything that it will do for yours. Please don't mistake what I'm saying as this being the only way for you to find your purpose in life. But if you found this video, then you have found some sort of reason, some sort of pull toward an activity that gets you outside, that gets you out moving. And I'm telling you that there is so much waiting for you through it. Please keep pushing forward, keep running, do it every time you get a moment to do it. Prioritize it, and you will reap benefits from it. I am living proof of that. I love my life. I love what I get to do every day. I love the work that I have. And all of that came about because I was persistent in the thing that I was doing. I kept moving forward, and I'll tell you, my career, it is taking care of me. My family's taken care of. My wife doesn't have to work. My children are safe. My son gets to do things that I never got to do as a child, and I'm telling you, my daughter will as well. It came about because I focused on something that brought me to a place of abundance. Running does have that to offer everyone. Everyone. If you're still listening to this, I appreciate you listening to me rant. But I hope that what I'm saying is coming across and that it makes sense to you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great week.